Let me ask you something right now. What's the difference between the life you have and the life you want? It's not your background. It's not your education. It's not even your resources. It's your habits. You see, every morning you wake up, you're not making 1,000 brand new decisions. You're living out patterns, systems, behaviors you've built, often without even realizing it. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They're either pulling you forward or dragging you down, and the truth, most people don't control their habits control them. Now let me hit you with something raw. Success doesn't come from doing big things once in a while. Success comes from doing small things consistently over and over and over until they become who you are. So if you're not where you want to be right now, if your body isn't where you want it, if your bank account isn't where you dream it could be, if your mindset isn't clear, powerful, and focused, it's not because you lack potential, it's because your habits are out of alignment with your vision. Change your habits, change your identity. You want to become unstoppable. Start with one habit, not 10, not 20, just one, because momentum isn't built by doing everything perfectly. Momentum is built by doing one thing with absolute consistency, then stacking the next, and suddenly you've reprogrammed your identity. Listen carefully, you don't get your goals, you get your standards, and your habits are a reflection of what you're willing to tolerate, what you accept when no one is watching, what you repeat when no one's pushing you. Are you the kind of person who says you want to be healthy, but reaches for sugar the second stress hits? Are you the kind of person who says you want to be wealthy, but scrolls social media instead of building skills? Are you the kind of person who says you want discipline, but hits snooze every morning? Let me say something to you with love, but also with power. You will never rise higher than your rituals. Your rituals are your results in disguise. Want a powerful life, build powerful habits, want peace of mind. Create consistent morning and evening rituals. Want energy, sleep with intention, eat with awareness, move with purpose. Want success, stop negotiating with your feelings. Your habits don't care how you feel. Your destiny doesn't care if you're in the mood. What you do when you don't feel like it. That's what builds champions, because anyone can act strong when it's easy. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But the ones who build habits, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on decisions. Every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. So who are you voting for today? Are you voting for the disciplined you, the focused you, the fit you, the rich you, the free you? Or are you voting for the lazy, distracted, unfulfilled version you're pretending you're not? Now here's the kicker. Habits are built through repetition, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. And when you fall, you get back up immediately. No guilt, no shame, just course correct. Because shame keeps you stuck, but action sets you free. Now I want you to imagine this. It's 1 year from now. You've been consistent with your habits. You've shown up. You've done the work. How do you feel? What does your life look like? What does your body look like? What does your bank account say? Who have you become? That version of you, that vision, it's not a fantasy, it's real, it's yours, but it demands that you start now with the small stuff. Wake up early, make your bed, hydrate, read 10 pages, go for a walk. Track your spending, plan your day the night before, do the hard thing first. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. These are not small things, they are the foundation. You've got to treat your habits like sacred rituals. They're not optional, not casual, but essential, because your future is built one repetition at a time. Let the world talk. Let the distractions pass you by. You've got a mission now. You're the kind of person who chooses habits that serve your vision, not your comfort. And listen, you're going to be tested. You're going to want to quit. Your old identity will whisper, come back. Just one time won't hurt, but that's the battle. And when you win that internal war, even once, you prove to yourself who you really are. And that's the real transformation. So I want to leave you with this. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You need to take ownership. Ownership of your days. ownership of your energy, ownership of your future, because when you control your habits, you don't just change your behavior, you change your life. Your habits shape your identity more than your intentions ever will. We all have goals, dreams, ambitions. We intend to be healthier, wealthier, more focused, more fulfilled. But how often do those intentions translate into real, lasting change? The answer lies not in how strongly we desire something, but in how consistently we act toward it. You can intend to read more books, but if you never build the habit of picking one up daily, that identity of a reader never sticks. You can want to get in shape, but if you don't establish the habit of showing up to exercise and fueling your body properly, your intention remains just that, an unfulfilled desire. What we do consistently carves out who we are. Think about the most disciplined, successful, calm, or confident people you know. Their habits, waking up early, journaling, eating clean, staying focused aren't one-time actions. They're part of their identity. They don't do these things occasionally. They live them. It's automatic, unconscious, ingrained. The action and the identity have become one. Now flip that. Think of people who feel stuck, lost, or overwhelmed. Most of the time, it's not because they lack dreams or plans. It's because their daily habits don't match the version of themselves they want to become. You can't call yourself disciplined if you repeatedly skip the things you said were important. You can't become financially free if your spending habits contradict your intentions. Intentions without consistent action are like seeds never planted, full of potential but producing nothing. The truth is, your brain and body believe what you repeatedly do, not what you say you'll do. If you want to rewire your identity, start by showing up differently, consistently. When you read for 20 minutes every day, you cast a vote for the identity of a reader. When you put your phone away at night and go to sleep on time, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who values your health. Each repetition, each action, is a small brick laid in the construction of your future self. Most people try to change from the outside in. They chase results and outcomes without addressing the internal system running the show. But real change happens when you focus from the inside out. You begin with the question, who do I want to become? And then ask, what habits would that version of me have? Then you start small, you build momentum, you prove it to yourself through action, and slowly your internal identity starts to shift. Not because you told yourself you'd change, but because you live the change day after day. Habits are like mirrors. They reflect the truth of your commitment. If your habits are scattered, reactive, or self-destructive, they're telling you something important. Your current identity might not be aligned with the person you're trying to become. And that's not a judgment, it's a signal that it's time to get honest, to realign, to stop chasing the hype of motivation and start respecting the power of routine. We live in a culture that glorifies ambition, but undervalues consistency. Everyone's hyped up on goals, but few are committed to building the boring, repetitive, daily structure that actually makes transformation happen. But that structure, that discipline, is what forges identity. Your future isn't waiting for a perfect moment or a sudden breakthrough. It's being created every single day in the background, quietly, through your habits. They are the unseen architects of who you are becoming, brick by brick, vote by vote, action by action. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goals are important. They give us direction, something to aim at. But goals alone are not what produce results. Everyone sets goals. Everyone wants to be successful, fit, fulfilled, confident, financially free. But why do so few actually achieve what they aim for? It's because they're relying on ambition instead of systems. A goal is a desired outcome, but a system is the process that leads you there. If your systems are broken, it doesn't matter how big or inspiring your goal is, you'll keep falling short. A person can have a goal to run a marathon, but if they don't have a training routine, a nutrition plan, a rest schedule, and consistent progress tracking, the goal remains a fantasy. It's the daily run, not the dream of crossing the finish line, that makes it real. The same goes for anything else in life. You can aim to build a successful business, but if your systems are disorganized, poor time management, lack of marketing structure, inconsistent customer service, you'll hit a wall. The system is the foundation. Without a foundation, the building collapses no matter how grand your blueprint is. Systems are the repeatable actions and habits that remove friction from progress. They make success automatic rather than occasional. When systems are strong, you don't have to rely on willpower alone. You've created a path that carries you forward even on days when you don't feel like showing up. Willpower fades, motivation wavers. But a system that's embedded in your lifestyle keeps working in the background. It becomes your default operating mode. What's powerful about focusing on systems is that it puts you in control. Goals can feel overwhelming or distant, especially when progress is slow. But systems keep you grounded. Instead of obsessing over how far you are from the finish line, you stay focused on the next step. That focus is what builds momentum. It's what turns scattered effort into sustainable growth. When you trust your system, you don't need to keep guessing if you're doing the right thing. You execute with clarity and confidence, knowing the results will come. Most people make the mistake of setting high expectations without building the structure to support them. It's like planting a seed in sand and expecting a tree to grow. The intention is there, but the environment is not. Systems create the environment for success. They make your actions consistent, your progress measurable, and your results predictable. When your system is aligned with your goal, progress becomes inevitable. You also save energy by removing decision fatigue. When your system is clear, you're not constantly wondering what to do next. Your routine tells you, your plan guides you, you don't need to think, you just need to follow through. This frees up your mental bandwidth for creativity, problem solving, and deeper focus because the foundational behaviors are already automated. The most successful people in any field are not necessarily the most talented or most passionate. They're the ones with the strongest systems. They've mastered the boring parts. They don't just work hard, they work smart with structure. They've turned their desired outcomes into daily processes. That's what separates high performers from those who stay stuck in wishful thinking. The difference is not desire, the difference is design. And it's not about building a perfect system from day one. It's about starting small, refining as you go, identifying what works and what doesn't, and continually optimizing the process. It's a living thing. Your system evolves with you. But once you commit to building it, everything changes. Goals give you vision. Systems give you traction. Without the latter, the former is just a daydream dressed up in ambition. Discipline is remembering what you want, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, everyone feels motivated at the beginning. When an idea is fresh, when a dream is vivid, when the excitement is high, taking action feels easy. But that feeling doesn't last. Life gets messy, you get tired, distractions creep in, doubt shows up, the initial spark fades, and it's in those moments, when the emotion is gone and the resistance is strong, that discipline becomes everything. Discipline is not about perfection, it's not about being robotic, it's about staying connected to your purpose, especially when it would be easier to walk away. People often confuse motivation with discipline. Motivation is fleeting, discipline is grounded, motivation waits to feel good, discipline moves even when it doesn't. Discipline is what keeps you waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's what keeps you grinding at your craft when no one's watching. It's what keeps you aligned with your vision when comfort is whispering your name. Discipline isn't about pushing through every moment with brute force. It's about training your mind to prioritize your future over your feelings. Your feelings are temporary, your vision is long-term. If you let temporary emotions dictate your actions, your results will be inconsistent, and your progress will always reset. But if you learn to act based on commitment rather than emotion, you tap into a deeper kind of power. A power that isn't dependent on external motivation, a power that comes from clarity. You know what you want, you know why you want it, and you're willing to pay the price daily to get there. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you say yes to your higher self. Every time you choose action over excuse, you reinforce the identity of someone who follows through. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the quiet choices made in the dark, the decision to study instead of scrolling, the choice to eat clean instead of easy, the commitment to one more rep, one more page, one more hour of focused effort. What you want in the moment is often not what you want most. That's the battle, and the people who win that battle repeatedly, they build something called self-trust. When you consistently do what you said you would do, especially when it's uncomfortable, you start believing in yourself on a different level. You no longer need others to validate your potential. You've seen yourself do the hard thing over and over. That's power, that's freedom, that's discipline. The world is full of talented people who never follow through, intelligent people who overthink but under-execute, passionate people who never get started. What separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck is discipline. The discipline to take the next step even when the path is uncertain. The discipline to stick to the plan even when progress feels invisible. The discipline to keep showing up not because it's easy but because it matters. Discipline is not about being emotionless. It's about choosing what matters over what's easy. It's about building habits that serve your future, not your comfort. It's about respecting the promises you make to yourself more than the excuses you make for yourself. In the end, it's not talent, motivation, or luck that determines who wins. It's the person who remembers what they want when the mood is gone. It's the person who does the work regardless of how they feel. That's the real edge. That's how transformation happens. That's how goals become reality and how dreams get built in the real world, not just imagined in your mind. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. The actions you take on a daily basis are not just tasks. They are signals you send to your brain about who you are. When you choose to wake up early, you're casting a vote for becoming someone who values time. When you choose to go to the gym, even for a short session, you're voting for the identity of someone who prioritizes health. When you resist the urge to check your phone and instead sit down to read or work, you're reinforcing the image of someone who is focused and intentional. Each choice may seem small in the moment, but over time, they accumulate and begin to shape how you see yourself and how the world sees you. Identity isn't formed by massive breakthroughs. It's formed by repetition. You become what you do consistently. If you consistently give up when things get hard, you begin to see yourself as someone who lacks follow-through. But if you consistently push through discomfort, even in small ways, you start believing that you're resilient. It's not about perfection. It's about the direction your actions are taking you. Every decision is a vote. It doesn't require 100% consistency to create change. It just requires a pattern that's stronger than the opposite. If you're voting more often for the person you want to be, the shift happens. Most people focus too much on the outcome they want and not enough on the identity they're building. They set goals like lose 10 pounds, make 6 figures, or write a book. But they don't ask, what kind of person achieves that? The real transformation happens when you focus not on achieving a goal, but on becoming the type of person who can naturally and repeatedly achieve goals. When your habits align with the identity of that person, success becomes a byproduct. It no longer feels like a struggle because your behavior is rooted in who you believe you are. There's a difference between doing something and becoming someone. A person who says, "I'm trying to quit smoking," is still holding on to the identity of a smoker, but a person who says, "I don't smoke," is affirming a new identity. The same is true for every other habit. If you say, "I'm trying to be more disciplined," your brain hears that discipline is not yet who you are. But if you say, "I am disciplined," and you act in alignment with that even in small ways, you start shifting the internal narrative. You stop faking the change and start living it. This is why habits matter so much. They're not just about getting results. They are the daily proof of who you are becoming. They are evidence, and the more evidence you accumulate, the harder it becomes to disbelieve in yourself. You stop relying on motivation because your actions start to feel natural. Your identity takes over. That's the power of casting votes in the right direction. Even when you miss a day or make a mistake, it doesn't erase your progress. What matters is the overall trend of your behavior. One missed vote doesn't define the election. It's the majority that counts. You don't need to wait for some perfect moment to start becoming the version of you that you admire. You just need to act like them in small ways starting now. Ask yourself in each moment, what would the disciplined version of me do? What would the focused version of me choose right now? What would the confident version of me say in this situation? And then act on it, even if it feels uncomfortable or unnatural at first. That's how you accumulate the votes. That's how you rewire your self-image from the inside out. That's how real, lasting identity change happens. Not by force, but by proof. Proof that shows up in your actions day after day, until the new you is no longer something you're trying to become. It's just who you are. Success is hidden in your daily routine, not in one big breakthrough. Most people are searching for that one massive opportunity that will change everything overnight. A big win, a viral moment, a perfect connection, a sudden windfall. But real success doesn't come from dramatic leaps. It comes from consistency. It's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching. It's shaped in the decisions you make when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, when progress seems invisible. It's not glamorous and it's rarely exciting, but it's where everything meaningful is born. Your routine is the invisible force that either pushes you forward or holds you back. The truth is, everyone wants to be successful, but not everyone wants to commit to the process. The process isn't flashy. It doesn't always bring immediate rewards. It demands patience, repetition, and faith. The small habits you carry out each day, your morning mindset, how you start your work, how you manage your time, what you consume mentally and physically, these are the bricks of your future. Every day, you are either building or destroying. There's no neutral. There's no standing still. Either your routine is working for you or against you. What separates the extraordinary from the average isn't talent or luck. It's intention behind repetition. Successful people do what most people are unwilling to do. Not because they love the grind every day, but because they've made peace with the fact that greatness lives in the mundane. The same actions again and again until mastery shows up. They've understood that showing up at 5 a.m. to train, saying no to distractions, choosing learning over entertainment, tracking their goals, protecting their energy, these things compound. And over time, they create results that seem magical to others, but are simply the outcome of unshakable consistency. Your routine reflects your priorities. You don't need to guess what matters to someone. Watch what they do consistently. Do they waste hours scrolling, or do they feed their mind? Do they complain about their circumstances, or do they work daily to change them? Do they talk about goals, or do they build systems around them? Your routine is your truth. If you want to change your life, start by changing your day, because the day is the unit of life. You don't control years, you don't even control weeks, but you do control today. And how you live today shapes the tomorrow you wake up to. The trap most people fall into is underestimating the power of the small. They skip the workout because it's just one day. They avoid the uncomfortable conversation because it's easier in the moment. They let one lazy decision slide and tell themselves it's harmless. But nothing is harmless when it becomes a habit. Small decisions repeated consistently have the power to either build you or break you. The small things are the big things, and the compound effect is always working, either for you or against you. When you take control of your routine, you take control of your results. You don't need to wait for inspiration. You don't need to rely on luck. You just need to build a structure that supports who you want to become. You need to make success automatic, not optional. You need to eliminate decision fatigue by designing habits that happen by default. And when that happens, momentum kicks in. Momentum is the reward of consistency. It's the silent engine that begins to carry you when your willpower fades. But it only shows up after a series of repeated days where you chose progress over excuses. No one gets to the top by accident. No one wakes up successful. It's intentional effort repeated relentlessly. It's a lifestyle, not a one-time event, and that lifestyle begins with your routine. The way you begin your morning, the way you close your day, the way you handle distractions, the way you fuel your body, the way you speak to yourself, all of it matters. Success doesn't crash into your life. It sneaks in quietly, hidden in the small decisions you made when no one was watching, hidden in your routine, waiting for you to notice its power.